Hey there, future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here with me today. I genuinely hope you're having an amazing day, no matter where you are in this incredible world of ours. Now, let's dive into something exciting. We're talking XRP today. So here's what's happening. I've got the one-day chart pulled up right here, and XRP is sitting pretty at $2.39. Here's the cool part. XRP actually finished in the green today, which is awesome. Right now, it's moving sideways. But here's why I'm getting excited. We just broke above that crucial $2.40 level. And guys, this is exactly what we've all been waiting for. Why? Because breaking through $2.40 could be the signal we need for the next major leg up in this rally. This breakout is huge, and I know a lot of you have been watching this level just like I have. But let's hope this week is a calm week. No tariff talk, no crisis in the world. And it looks like then we could possibly start to move back up on the price of XRP. And check this out. Bitcoin is back above $108,000. That's pretty solid, right? Now, here's something interesting I want you to notice. XRP and Bitcoin are basically moving like twins right now. I mean, when you look at these charts side by side, they're almost identical. It's like they're dancing together. And speaking of Bitcoin, everyone's buzzing about what could be a massive week ahead. I'm seeing Bitcoin maximalists and their marketing teams everywhere, and they're getting loud again. They're out there saying Bitcoin's heading straight back to $500,000. Now, listen, I get the excitement, I really do, but here's my honest take. I think we need to pump the brakes a little here. Before we start dreaming about $500,000, let's be realistic for a second. I'm hoping Bitcoin can reach $150,000, but honestly, I think it's going to face some serious resistance getting there. That $150,000 level is going to be a real test, and I want to make sure we're all prepared for that reality. Now here's where things get really interesting. A lot of people are saying that October is going to make a major comeback. Like, we're talking about alt season potentially kicking off. And if that happens, well, we could all be sitting pretty. The community is still incredibly bullish right now, especially about what's coming at the end of this month. And get this. People are actually predicting that XRP could hit $4 by Halloween. Can you imagine that? From where we are now to $4 in just a few weeks, that would be absolutely wild. But here's what everyone's really watching for. And these are the big catalysts that could make this happen. First up, we've got those XRP ETFs that everyone's expecting to go live. And then, this is huge, there's that banking license for Ripple that people are anticipating. Now, will all of this actually happen? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But the excitement in the community right now is absolutely electric. But it's all still speculation. Think seriously about selling your bags when alt season hits this level. One day the bull market will end. You should get free from your bags when these things happen. All right, let me throw this up on the screen for you guys, and I want to share my honest thoughts about this whole situation. So when you step back and look at what's happening in the real world right now, all the events, all the developments, everything is still pointing in a really bullish direction for crypto. And here's my take. It's not time to hit that sell button just yet. Now, I know some of you might be thinking about taking profits, and I get it. But before you do, let me tell you what I'm watching for. First, keep your eye on where the big money is flowing. I'm talking about institutional money. These big players are still pouring in, and that tells us something important. Second, remember what you're holding here. XRP is a utility token. So the real question is, are we starting to see that utility actually drive the price? That's a key piece of the puzzle. But here's the biggest tell of all, and this one's my favorite indicator. When your friends and family start hitting you up, asking if it's too late to get into crypto, that's when you know we're getting close to the top. They'll probably even tell you that you just got lucky. Cool. Sound familiar? That's usually the signal we're all waiting for. You know what's going to happen when XRP makes you rich? Everyone's going to say you got lucky. They just can't wrap their heads around the fact that you actually had the discipline to lock it in and hold on. Why? Because admitting you made a smart move would mean they'd have to admit they were, well, let's just say they weren't exactly motivated to do their homework. But here's the truth. This wasn't rocket science. All you had to do was research XRP and buy the coin. Honestly, it was so straightforward that even my dog could have figured it out. And I bet you can relate to this. Over the years, you've probably talked to countless people about XRP. your coworkers, friends, family members, and what did they give you? Excuse after excuse. Some of them looked at crypto like it was monopoly money. Others hit you with the classic, "I can't lock up any money right now," or "Now's just not a good time for me to invest." But watch what happens. The second crypto breaks out and starts making headlines, guess who's going to be blowing up your phone? Those same people. They'll be asking, "Is it too late for me to get in?" And this will be when XRP is already cruising in double digits. It's going to be absolutely wild. And here's what I want you to remember. You didn't get lucky. You had the vision to see where XRP was heading. And more importantly, you had the patience to stick with it when everyone else was making excuses. I'll tell you right now, the bear market was brutal for XRP. XRP latest news, is the next millionaire wave coming? So this article is talking about XRP hitting $5, and they're discussing how people are going to become millionaires with XRP. And you know what? I absolutely believe this cryptocurrency is going to create a whole new wave of millionaires. It's definitely going to happen. But here's what drives me crazy. For some reason, people always think you can't actually get rich with XRP. Like, the moment you mention certain price targets, they immediately shut it down. They'll say things like, "Well, previous cycles tell us it can only reach this price," or "The market cap would never allow XRP to get that high." But here's the thing they're missing, and this is super important. Market cap really doesn't matter the way they think it does. We're not talking about the stock market here, guys. This is crypto, and it plays by completely different rules. Plus, and this is something hardly anyone talks about, XRP has what I call a market cap multiplier effect. Most people don't even know this exists. And here's another reality check. When people try to compare this cycle to previous ones, they're missing the big picture. This cycle has already shown us that it's completely different from anything we've seen before. The game has changed, and those old rules, they might not apply anymore. And here's what I think is going to blow everyone's mind. XRP is going to emerge as the major shocker of this cycle. But wait, did you guys know about this crazy story? Back in late 2017, XRP nearly hit zero on Binance. I'm talking about just a quick wick down, but still, can you imagine? I honestly don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this before, and it's absolutely fascinating. I remember people were discussing this for months afterward. Think about it. XRP almost went to literally zero. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happened next was incredible. It didn't just recover. It completely rebounded and smashed through to a brand new all-time high. And you know what the best part is? During that whole run back then, when XRP was sitting way down here in the dumps, people were saying things like, XRP would be lucky to even reach 25 cents. Can you believe that? They thought a quarter would be a miracle. Just goes to show you how wrong the crowd can be, right? Sometimes the biggest comebacks come from the most unexpected places. But then, boom! It became the major shocker of that entire cycle. Think about this for a second. People were sitting there expecting maybe 25 cents if they were lucky. And what did they actually get? They got $3.84. Can you imagine that? Instead of a quarter, XRP delivered nearly $4. And here's why I'm getting excited. I'm expecting the exact same thing to happen right now. So let me ask you this. What are people calling for XRP today? Most are saying $27, right? But what if, and hear me out on this, what if it goes to even higher price points than that? I mean, it could very well happen. Here's the pattern I've noticed with XRP. Whenever everybody's expecting one thing, it always does something else. XRP price prediction analysts target $6.50 by the end of the year. Honestly, I think that's still way undervalued. I'm sticking with my prediction. I believe XRP is going to hit double digits before we close out this year. Now here's what I'm watching like a hawk. Those ETF inflows. That's going to be our biggest indicator for where XRP goes during this entire run. And let me tell you something. I'm already seeing serious demand for XRP building up. Those filings we've been seeing, they're telling us a clear story. There's massive demand brewing for this cryptocurrency. It's not just hype, it's real institutional interest. But here's what I think is happening. Everybody is seriously underestimating what these inflows are going to look like. And that's exactly why I believe once this thing kicks off, we're going to see XRP rocket to some absolutely shocking levels, and it's going to happen fast. When institutions start pouring money in through these ETFs, the speed of that price movement is going to catch everyone off guard. We're talking about the kind of price action that makes people's jaws drop.
That's what I see coming for XRP. XRP poised for $8 to $27 targets.
So, E-grade crypto is back at it again, calling for that 27 XRP target. And like I mentioned earlier, this seems to be the consensus. Most people are landing on that same number. But here's what's really interesting. Even some of the most conservative voices in crypto, the ones who are usually super cautious with their predictions, they're still calling for 20 plus XRP in this run. When the conservative crowd is getting bullish, that tells you something, right? Now, let's have some fun with this. If we were to compare this to the 2017 run, that legendary cycle we all remember, that would probably push XRP well above 3 digits. Can you imagine if XRP pulled off another 2017-style run? Do I think it's actually going that high? Honestly, probably not. I mean, let's be realistic here. But, and this is a big but, I do think there's a legitimate chance it could hit 3 digits. I'm not saying it will, but the possibility is definitely there. And that's what makes this so exciting. We're in uncharted territory where even the impossible price targets might not be so impossible after all.
And honestly, that would be absolutely shocking all by itself.
Actually, let me share something from the comments. Real Remy Relief jumped in and said, "I'm sticking with my $1,200 target. Let's go." And you know what I told him? I said, "Look, XRP is most likely not going to hit $1,200 in this run. That's just being real with you guys. But here's where it gets interesting. I don't think $100 is off the table at all. Those ETF inflows combined with that market cap multiplier effect I mentioned earlier, that's going to be an absolute game changer." Now, the responses I got were hilarious. Some people told me I'm way too conservative. They think I'm setting the bar too low. But then other people came at me saying I'm completely crazy, that there's no way XRP is going to 3 digits because of previous cycles and market cap limitations. So I've got people on both sides telling me I'm wrong. Some say I'm too bullish, others say I'm not bullish enough. That's when you know we're in for something special, when even the experts can't agree on what's possible.
But I want to see what happens when they approve those ETFs that'll tell us all we need to know. Because you'll see the money pour in very quick. That could also lead to XRP taking us into old season this time around. Tether minted $1 billion USDT. But wait, there's more! Here's something that's absolutely wild. $6 billion in USDT and USDC has been minted just since last week's crash. We're talking about fresh liquidity pouring into the market, and it's probably just sitting there waiting for some clarity. Here's the kicker. If these US-China deal talks go well, we could see billions flowing into ETH and altcoins. That's massive. But let me talk about something that's been bugging me. Tether just keeps minting USDT out of thin air. How long is this going to keep working? I mean, seriously, this feels like a future Black Swan event just waiting to happen for crypto. And here's the pattern I keep seeing. Every single time Bitcoin's price drops even a little bit, what happens? Boom! Here comes Tether, minting more USDT and propping up Bitcoin's price again. It's like clockwork. You know what? This is actually the biggest reason I would never invest in Bitcoin. That's my #1 reason. Well, that and the fact that it's way overhyped in my opinion. But here's the thing. You can't do this forever. Eventually, something's got to give. And when it does, it's going to look like a complete Black Swan event that nobody saw coming, even though we're watching it happen in slow motion right now. Everything is going to crash. Embrace patience. Navigate XRP's volatility with confidence. The cryptocurrency market's volatility pressures XRP prices significantly. Patience and avoidance of panic selling can be crucial for XRP holders. So now they're finally admitting it. Volatility is what's going to make you rich in crypto. And guess what? That's exactly what I've been telling you guys this entire time. Think about it. Volatility is what brings most people into crypto in the first place. It's that crazy potential where something could go from literal pennies to dollars, then jump to the $20 range, $30 range, and beyond, all happening incredibly fast. That's the magic that gets people excited about crypto. But here's what drives me absolutely nuts, and I want you to pay attention to this pattern. These same financial institutions always blame volatility when they don't want to fully adopt crypto. Have you ever noticed that? It's like clockwork. They'll say, "Oh yeah, we're really interested in crypto," but then immediately follow it up with, "But that volatility though, That's why we can't go all in. It's their go-to excuse. But here's the irony that's so beautiful. That same volatility they're complaining about, that's exactly what's going to make us rich in the end. They're scared of the very thing that creates the opportunity for massive gains. So while they're sitting on the sidelines making excuses, we're positioned to benefit from exactly what they're afraid of.
XRP might see a market direction flip following a 100% spike in the volume of payments on the network, essentially easing bearish pressure on the market.
All right, here's some exciting news. It looks like transactions are really ramping up on the XRP ledger again. And you know what? That's actually a fantastic signal for us. Whew. This tells me that we're likely going to keep pushing upward from here, as long as this momentum continues, of course. Now, check out these numbers because they're pretty impressive. We saw 1.33 billion XRP in payment volume just on October 17th alone. That's a massive payment volume surge that just happened. And here's why this is so important. This isn't just speculation or hype. This shows us that people are actually using the network for real transactions. We're talking about genuine utility happening right before our eyes. When you see these kinds of numbers, it's not just about price movement anymore. It's proof that the XRP ledger is doing exactly what it was designed to do, processing real payments, real value transfers. And that's the kind of foundation you want to see supporting any price action.
And I think that's going to continue to happen because once people start using XRP, and the beautiful thing is, they're using it more and more every single day. With institutional adoption literally right around the corner, these big institutions are going to start using XRP for its actual intended purpose. Here's what I think is going to happen. A lot of these institutions are going to go way beyond just the ETFs. They're going to buy the actual asset. And why wouldn't they? When you have something that can actually be used in the real world, people want to be invested in it and use it. Picture this. When they're paying a distributor overseas or sending money internationally, they could easily use XRP instead of that old clunky SWIFT system. That's what makes this cryptocurrency absolutely game-changing. It has real-world value. Now, let me address something that drives me crazy. Everyone always talks about Bitcoin like this. Oh well, Bitcoin only reached this price because of market cap, because of previous cycles. They always have some excuse when Bitcoin looks bearish. But the moment Bitcoin starts ripping, suddenly it's market cap doesn't matter anymore. It's going to $1 million this cycle. But here's my question. Beyond scarcity, and I don't even consider scarcity a real use case, what actual value does Bitcoin have? Honestly, none. It completely failed as a payment system. You literally cannot transact with it unless you're running it over something like the XRP ledger, or you want to stand in Starbucks for 10 minutes waiting for your coffee after paying 10 times the normal fees. It's just not practical. XRP actually works. It's proven, it's battle-tested, and that's exactly why we're going to see massive institutional adoption for this cryptocurrency. But let me be clear about something I said earlier. I still don't believe XRP is going to hit $1,200. Can it hit $100 though? Absolutely. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of you. Stay patient, stay positive, and we're going to get rich together. I'll see you in the next one. Have an amazing night.